Hey, how's it going everyone? My name's Zero, welcome back to Realm Royale Reforged, and just right now we actually got the full patch notes for the upcoming Realm Royale Reforged patch. Now, just a few days ago actually, I made a video already addressing some of the major points that were gonna be addressed in this upcoming patch, but it does seem like the full patch notes have dropped. So, as always, we're gonna be looking into them and giving you my opinion and some of my insight as to some of these changes that are in the update. So, without any further ado, let's begin. But first of all, we are starting with terms of service reminders, and I'm not going to skip over that. I feel like it's important to remind the player base of what the best conduct is to have within the game. So first of all, editing local config files to change in-game appearance is against terms of service and bannable. However, the only allowed changes are uncapping FPS, limiting FPS, or changing the font region, because there have been exploits and people abusing certain config files in the past that would give them some kind of an advantage over other players, most notably removing leaves off of trees, which doesn't seem like it's a major thing, but actually did get people some significant advantage in the game. So those three things, you can absolutely do that with no problem, but don't go beyond that, otherwise you may risk your account getting banned if you get caught doing it. Second of all, macros used to provide in-game advantages are bannable. I shouldn't have to explain this one. If you do some sort of automated program thing that makes you press 70 billion buttons at once when you're only supposed to press one or two, you're gonna get banned, because macros in every single game, every single thing you can ever think of, it's not really fair. It gives you automation, which as a human you obviously can't have. So I don't think I really have to dwell over on that point. And lastly, this one actually did get updated, so I want to stress on that. Teaming is bannable. This includes not killing your friends in Q snipes while killing others. Play normal. So if you guys do play in some Q snipes along other streamers or some of your friends, you would have the habit of usually letting your friend get away as a chicken and wait for them to get back into full health so you can have a fight again, and you would do that until one of you either run out of chicken lives or someone decides to end it all completely. Apparently this is now not allowed anymore, because a lot of people have actually been sending reports, and it actually says here in the dev note, we receive many reports from people that aren't participating in the queues that send reports to players that are teaming, not killing others while killing them. These frequent reports are the reason we had to make this decision. We have the intention of adding customizable customs in a future patch that may allow a lower minimum number of players and enable bots to give a place for these types of games. So if you guys will like to do Q snipes in the future, they will have a certain mode in the custom games category where you can have that, and it will be just a normal game with bots and you and the other people that are Q sniping. But slowly but surely, the developers are going to be starting to reduce Q snipes in pubs, as not only does it make a lot of casual players get caught in the crossfires of these, but also some of these casual players actually don't really know what's going on, and when they see some people just really not killing each other or not finishing each other, they're obviously going to report that. So completely understandable, especially as a casual point of view. It may seem annoying if you guys are used to hosting Q snipes or participating in them, but again, think of the casual player base. They don't like seeing people just not play the game. To their eyes, doesn't seem fairly. Moving on from there, and the big update, the big addition to this is the new game mode Realm Wars. Realm Wars Team Deathmatch has been added to the new map Primal Island. This mode is a chaotic 10v10 deathmatch that lasts up to 15 minutes per round. Drop, loot, forge, then fight it out before and after. And we actually have a link to a video here, so let's go and check that out. So there you go. As you saw a before and after of the new map, how it was developed, what additions were made to it over time, and stuff like that. Pretty interesting. If you guys are interested in game design or stuff like that, maybe you would get something out of this video. And there are some tips to get you started here, so I will read them out to you guys before the patch actually comes out. So first of all, the team with the most kills at 15 minutes will win. The right side of the screen shows your team's kills in blue and enemy team's kills in red. If a team is up by 40 kills or more after 5 minutes, then it would end early. You will passively gain 20 shots every 5 seconds. Use these to forge between respawns and upgrade your loot. Forge times have been drastically reduced to 1 second. Armor is always forged at legendary levels. Events will randomly happen throughout the match. Be ready for anything when you hear the foghorn, like Forge Fire Sale, Rising Tides, Adrenaline Rush, Hard Dive, and Loot Fiesta. We don't really know what these stand for. They're just going to be random events that happen, and they've already been trying some of these random events we've seen with the April Fool's experimental bunnies, so we're going to have to see actually in game what those represent, but you could get some clues as to what will happen in the map with those names. I mean, Rising Tides, there's probably going to be some crazy tsunamis around the map, and Loot Fiesta, probably legendary loot only when you loot chests, stuff like that. And in bug fixes, chests fixed to be multi-lootable again. Single lootable was a bug / never intended. I explained this in my video when I addressed the chest situation, and I didn't actually quite get it right. I said in the video that this change was meant to be for TDM, but actually it wasn't. It was just while they were tweaking for TDM that they actually accidentally snuck in some code that made the chest single open only. But this change was never even meant for TDM to begin with. There was never an intent to put single loot in any capacity in Realm Royale, whether it be in TDM or Battle Royales. So there it is once again for those of you guys that missed the explanation as to why this change was made. It wasn't a conscious game change. It was completely accidental and snuck under the radar until it was started to be reported. Second of all, primary cause of Hunter T-pose fixed, monitoring to see if there are additional causes. As you guys know, the Hunter T-pose, which is a very old, very annoying bug in the game, they are actually working really hard to remove that, and it does seem like they found a fix, and hopefully they'll be watching the games and seeing if it does actually fix the problem. Armor regen after revive will work normally. If you guys have been revived after the new patch, normally there is a bug where the breastplate doesn't actually give you healing per second like it normally should. It just makes you stay at the exact same level of healing that you're at. But that bug is fixed now, hopefully, and I'm really happy because it was quite frustrating for me as someone who really likes to hold on to my potions. Having to spend them all whenever I get revived, not really my favorite thing in the world, to be completely honest. And finally, animation cancelling on PC by tapping equipped weapon key fixed. I explained this to you guys also in my patch notes video previously. There was a bug in the game that allowed you to reload faster and completely bypass some of the delays, and it was especially bad on the assassin sniper. It seems like this bug, which by the way has been in the game for years and years and years, is finally gone. So great news. And moving on to quality of life changes. First of all, and we knew this as well, fog damage reduced. Second of all, healing station is droppable after 1 second of use. Thank God. I hope they do the same to the sensor drone, because sometimes that does happen to me as well. But the healing station, not being able to drop it immediately and accidentally using it, kind of frustrating as well. Shot count in a stack added to UI and potion count in a stack added to UI. So if you guys actually look at the screenshot right here now, you will be actually able to tell how many potions are in a certain stack. So for example, if you kill an enemy and they have, say, 8 pots currently, you can't see in the current version of the game that they do have 8 pots. You kind of have to pick them up and guess that they had 8 pots in one way or another. Now you'll be actually able to use the UI and tell how many pots someone has on their stack. Same thing for shards as well. And for the API, it now tracks player kills separate from bot kills, which might be interesting for some of you guys, especially in the competitive scene. And the API also now tracks damage to armor in the damage stat. Previously, only HP was tracked. Kind of interesting and kind of surprising as well. I mean, sometimes when you look at Realm Tracker and stuff like that, and you see the amount of damage someone does in a game, I mean, you don't immediately think that only health was tracked, but apparently it was the case, and armor was never tracked into Realm Tracker and the Slicky Nicky's website and stuff like that. My mind is kind of blown right now, so we're gonna see some super high damage counts now. Be prepared for that. In balance changes, neutral, revolver reworked into new hand cannon. Harder hitting, slower firing, and projectile based instead of hit scan. Optimal in close range but has high damage fall off and has limited use in long range fights. Again, we've covered that in our previous patch notes video. It's a slower firing weapon, it's not hit scan anymore, but it hits pretty hard, so it's going to be an interesting playstyle, especially for the people who did enjoy the actual revolver. And also there was something about the auto sniper being reworked as a DMR, and they're actually showing some gameplay of it now, so let's see, because I'm very curious about this. Okay, and then they just put the Realm Wars loading screen for some reason again, but that's the DMR, or the new reworked auto sniper, I suppose. From what I can tell, I mean, it goes kind of crazy. I don't know, I kind of like the auto sniper as it is right now. It can be a little crazy if you hit all headshots, but I feel like this will encourage a kind of spammy playstyle that people don't really like. Just from what I'm seeing from this, and obviously it's just the release, right? There's going to be the PTS, there's going to be people who are given insight and stuff like that, but just from that alone, and with some players in the community having crazy aim, they can probably hit several headshots in a row. I feel like this weapon is going to be a problem for certain people, but I don't know, we'll have to see. Obviously the weapon is not in our hands yet. Engineer, rocket dash and thrust cooldown from 14, 13, 12, 11 to 15, 14, 13, 12. Deploy turret cooldown from 16, 15, 13, 12 to 16, 15, 14, 13. Duration from 12 to 13 seconds. And the Betty's grenade launcher heal from 80, 100, 120 to 80, 120, 180. So the engineer has received a little bit of a balance again, a slight nerf on the thrust. However, the grenade launcher healing and the deploy turret have both been buffed in a slight way, which I'm kind of surprised about, to be honest. I'm not sure why the big increase once again. I guess engineer was not that viable on his own anymore, which is confusing because I thought the new playstyle was supposed to encourage stuff like the healing sentry, and that already gives quite a lot of healing, so I don't know why you would stack that again with the Betty, but whatever. Again, we'll have to see what that gives. Assassin changes decoy invisible time from 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds. Ooh, that's quite harsh actually. Sniper rifle zoom time from 0.25 to 0.28. Again, kind of harsh. In dev, with anticipation of being in patch 5, potential for patch 6 instead, sniper rifle now has a 0.4 seconds grace window for reload to complete if an ability is used while reloading. Okay, so it does seem like they're gonna make the sniper a bit more reliable, especially on the reload side. The scoping time is being reduced, however, and a huge problem that people had, including myself, the sniper's reload was a little bit wonky, and actually now if you use an ability while you're reloading your sniper, they'll kind of overlap in some way from what I'm understanding, so there will be a short amount of time where you can reload your sniper rifle and at the same time use that ability and it will not cancel the window. Quite interesting. I'm kind of scared that there's going to be some bugs with that. I'm happy that they're not completely trying to rush this and might even program this for the next patch already. But still pretty good change in my opinion. The others, I don't know if the decoy one was really necessary, but the sniper one, quick scoping is already kind of hard, so it feels a little bit overkill, but I guess it's not too bad for what I think is one of the best classes in the game right now. Warrior, javelin projectile size lowered, damage curve adjusted from 2120 to 2150. Javelin nerf. Ah, you hate to see it. A javelin nerf. Ah, but I guess it was needed after 2 consecutive buffs. It was getting a little bit too crazy, I think, so they're trying to reduce the range, or I guess the size of it, especially at long ranges, so quite interesting. Heroic leap cooldown from 17, 16, 15, 14 to 16, 15, 14, 13. So quite a good buff for the heroic leap, which I'm quite surprised about. I didn't think that was an ability that most people struggled with, but it seems like the warrior kind of struggles in movement. Quite interesting. And finally, the last changes are with the mage. First of all, the ice staff projectile speed from 2000 to 1900. and damage from 205, 250, 300 to 200, 240, 280, and the fireball cooldown from 17, 14, 12, 11 to 15, 14, 13, 12. Wow, so they're actually nerfing the mage, but not the flask of healing, which I find really interesting. I'm afraid this is going to make some pretty annoying playstyles combined with the engineer. You're going to have some flask healings, some healing sentries, some Betty healings. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy that, because yes, they're reducing the ice staff output, but to be honest, not everyone can use that. It's way easier to use the fire staff, and that thing is ridiculous right now. The fireball, I mean, they're nerfing the higher rarities but buffing the lower rarities, so I guess it balances out, but it's not really worth it to pick up a low rarity fireball anyways. Man, I mean, they are encouraging some kind of not really aggressive gameplay with this patch, I feel like. It's really interesting. That's how I'm reading it anyways. Tell me what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. From what I'm interpreting from this, you're gonna have to see a lot of healing focused heroes and playstyles now. Really interesting. Again, tell me what you guys think about these changes in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new with notifications on. It'd be greatly appreciated. It was Zero, and I'm out.